Ghosts. Spooky floating ectoplasms. Are they real? Is great-grandma Martha watching you spank the floppy sausage every night while she's watching over you? Are your ancient ancestors who died shivering cold in a blanket, chock full of smallpox, now watching you rack up a body count higher than Trisha Paytas in a Japanese harem anime? Maybe. But maybe not.
Oh, hold up. Hey. Before we get to the video, I want to introduce today's sponsor, BetterHelp. If there's one thing I believe in, it's not ducking around with mental health. I think that everyone should check out therapy at some stage, whether you think you need it or not. That's why I thought it would be the best time to introduce you guys to BetterHelp. Whether you want to apply for that job you've been dreaming of, start your first YouTube channel, or you just want some guidance working through your emotions and goals, BetterHelp have over 30,000 therapists that are ready to listen and help you however they can. The best part about online therapy is how accessible your therapy sessions are. You can choose to have your sessions over the phone or through their messaging platform. Therapy that you can have in the comfort of your own home. After signing up, you are matched with your very own therapist and you can start your sessions straight away. If you aren't quite vibing with your guide, you can easily switch with the click of a button. No more awkward therapy breakups. And this really is one of the best ways, especially if you have a bit of social anxiety, to get out there and have a chat to someone and see what kind of benefits it can do for you. So go ahead and check out the link in the description or chuck this in your address bar. Also, clicking that link in the description helps support this channel. It also gives you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp. You can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you today. And go ahead and join the 4 million people that are already using it and benefiting from it daily. Today, I want to kind of talk about some of my experiences with the spooky dookie. As you probably know on the boys channel, we've experienced a lot of stuff. We've gone to a lot of places. There's over 70 million views of us traveling around the road, going to haunted places. And I kind of want to talk a little bit off the record about what my beliefs and what my experiences are. I was a skeptic, but then I had some experiences that changed everything. And now shit is getting a little weird. It's rewind time. July 24th, 2021. Overnight in Most Haunted Jail. This was my first spooky dookie experience. I gathered with my favorite homies with extra chromies. We'd always wanted to get into exploring haunted locations, and the first video was a hit. As for the actual night, well, we just made jokes and ended up being banned from every haunted location in South Australia.
Hang on, let's see if there's any semen in the room. Found some. Are you checking for handprints?
Oopsie doopsie. Yeah. Our bad. That actually made things really difficult going forth. Like, we literally got banned from every fucking place in South Australia. Yeah, it turns out that they all talk to each other. And they were like,
we've got these people that come in and pretended to be paranormal investigators, and they're actually just a bunch of autistic, dick and cum fart joke boys.
So they all talked to one another, and we got banned, and we didn't know if we were ever going to be able to do it again. But May 14th, 2022, the infamous The Boys Go to the Clown Motel. Since we had been banned from every haunted location where I lived, we made the long trek out to Nevada to visit the gayest haunted motel of all time. Apart from having more bugs than a Bethesda game, it didn't really seem haunted by anything, except for a couple bad 1-star reviews on Google.
Just leave.
But this was the video that put us on the map. This pulled 25 million views, which let us know that you want to see more haunted, spooky, poopy, dookie times. This video was pretty hectic, I'm not gonna lie. It had a lot of pressure building behind it. So many of you guys wanted to see this because of like skits that we'd done in our VR days in the same place, and like it just blew up. And we kind of left this video knowing like, we're gonna do more of this shit. We gotta do more. But there was no real actual scary stuff that happened apart from just being in a fucking clown motel in the middle of the desert, which was scary itself. Next, we went to a haunted asylum in Australia. Basically, Eddie got scared and Mully tried to rizz up some female spirits. Still waiting for the twit longer on that one.
Dude. Oh, she fucking scared me, man.
That's pretty much all that happened there. Then we went to a haunted island. Not Epstein's, the other one. We almost died on the way there and I got chased by a bat.
Shit.
Probably the most dangerous one, since we didn't really think anything through and we were a good 12 hours away from having any medical attention whatsoever, and we were literally on an abandoned island filled with Australian snakes and wildlife. And then we broke into an abandoned hotel in Japan, and then we crashed a haunted mansion with anything for views, and blah 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 blah. And every time we uploaded a video, you guys were sending us screenshots of weird shit that we hadn't noticed in the background, which by the way is up. You think I want to see this shit? Let's recap on all the creepy bullshit that nobody needs in their inbox after spending 24 hours locked in a creepy cryptoid hellhole. Number 1, insane clown pussy. 2, 9-foot tall ghost of NBA draft pick. 3, jiggly black blob goo ghost. 4, Pete Davidson gets locked out of his house. 5, Pete Davidson hiding behind tree. 6, that's not even a ghost. That's anything for views, big wet butt. Number 7, ooh, spooky light. It's probably someone's dead grandma. Get over it. Number 8, naughty ghost in timeout. Number 9, hallway hard. Number 10, that's just juicy after guzzling some ghost cack. Some of this stuff is obviously stupid, but some of it is genuinely kind of creepy. I'm not gonna lie. We always get back from these video shoots and we wonder, did something follow us back? So yeah, we were having fun going from location to location. Weird things were happening here and there, but we did our best to ignore it. And look, when you're hanging out with your best pals and they all happen to be wacky hoo-hoo ha-ha internet comedians, it's honestly hard to get genuinely scared. Stuff was happening, but we never knew if it was the locals messing with us or the owners of the properties or just plain old sleep deprivation. I thought we were never gonna capture anything on camera and we were doomed to be ghost incels. I don't know, whatever the word is for when ghosts don't want to you. And we were not being by any ghosts. And that's when your favorite little band of neurodivergent soy boys found themselves at the Conjuring House. Going from a place like the fucking Clown Motel to the motherfucking house of the Conjuring was like going from a weekend staff party at Weenie Hut Jr. to hanging a Prada bag off your dick and hitting the gritty in the middle of Skid Row. In other words, we were now in deep doo-doo. Now, it's worth mentioning that the Conjuring House had the most strict filming policy out of all the places we'd been so far. They gave us a waiver this thick and it said no seances, no bullying the dead, no faking ghost footage, and they wanted to review the video before we made it live. We didn't want to get banned from any more places because, you know, money. So we turned up, we got a little tour from one of the people who, by the way, are staying in the house. Who the fuck stays in the goddamn Conjuring House as a job? There's like a little gift shop extension where this unhinged fucking Conjuring House employee stays just to make sure that people don't like get naked and start porking each other, which was also on the waiver, by the way, seriously. Now, I took one of the cameras because I want to capture something real. I want to control one of the viewpoints. I want to capture some real shit. It's all I want in life is for people to see me and be like, yo, homeboy seen a ghost, and then it. But seriously, that's why I am filming in a lot of these videos. I'm trying to actually capture some shit. I don't know where everyone's belief points are in the group. You know, I want to know if it's real. I want to capture something where I'm like, I don't give a shit if anyone else believes me, but I can't explain what I captured on this film here. And then I want to post it on the internet and make $1 million from it. So yeah, we always crack some jokes and we mess around a little bit because everyone who does this shit is so serious and we like to be silly,
Goofy little gaffy soy boys.
and it kind of keeps shit fun. Okay, it's worth noting something here for later in the video. This house was as old as shit. A lot of people who watched this video and commented,
Oh, they probably had something set up in the walls or the floor to make noises, or radio transmitters to f with your equipment. Yeah, soy milk.
this place was built by muscly jock pilgrim dudes, okay? The floor was just a bunch of 2x4s. There was no empty cavity to install any ghost babbling techno bullshit. The walls were stiffer than Kim Kardashian's cheeks. You could literally see the upper floor through the gaps in the timber on the roof. I'd never been in a house like it, and it was kind of cool, not gonna lie, on God, for real, for real. First thing, Mully grabbing the doll, not the real doll. Are you retarded? Obviously, it's not the real doll. The real doll wasn't even at the house. It's in the Warren Spooky Museum thing 9 million miles away, locked in a glass cabinet. Under armed guard, probably. I don't fucking know. Now, the first room that really got me, and I mean really got me, was the boning room. Look, I know germs and shit weren't invented or whatever, but whose idea was it to crap out the most fragile miracle of life in a stinky, dusty attic filled with rusty nails? No wonder the average lifespan back then was like 15 years old. This room was more like an Egyptian torture chamber than a boning room. The shit wasn't right from top to bottom. It gave me the heebie-jeebie-jubals. I felt like I was gonna get tetanus just from breathing the air in that godforsaken room. It was f***ed up. It just didn't feel right.
Boys overnight at a spooky room. The boys in a spooky burning room.
Oh, it smells like mold in here. No!
So the first thing they do is they lock me in. Thanks very much for that, guys. Appreciate you.
The perfect time to tell you where to get these cool threads. The Boys.store, brand new.
And then took the opportunity to do a merch shout out while I was screaming in this small dark room, which was very musty, and it was obviously, it hasn't been cleaned. It was just this weird wooden box. At this point, they decide they're going to just pretend that they've left the room, which I knew they were going to do because Marley was out there and he thinks he's a genius prankster, but let's be honest, I knew it was coming. So I thought I would prank them back by pretending I was actually dead. But as I was laying there on the floor, I could hear whispers inside the room. So before anyone else had any experiences, them locking me in this room, hearing whispers, hearing slight footsteps right next to me, I actually thought, I couldn't see anything because it was pitch black, but I thought that there was a hole somewhere in the wall that they could talk to me through because they sounded like they were right next to me.
Oh my God, Molly locked it when he went back to it. My God, Josh, I'm so sorry. Josh.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
How long have I been in here for?
I was gonna scare you. I was waiting behind the door for like 20 minutes.
And it was really dusty. I probably got permanent lung damage.
I actually felt something touching my leg a little bit, but I wasn't sure if it was like a snake or a f***ing spider or something. Get in.
Yeah, and that is also true. I felt something touch it a little bit. Like I was sitting there and I was just like, this can't be happening right now. Something's touching me a little bit, but I don't know if it was my imagination. But if something like no shit moves my arm or my leg, I'm out. It was getting a little weird in there. Nothing extreme.
These only last 3, usually, like 3.5.
Mine is halfway.
Same, mine's halfway.
Yeah, so these batteries, we generally replace them constantly because you don't want to find out after something crazy's happened that there was no audio recorded. Around the time they should be empty, only mine and Mully's were full. It was odd for the batteries to be full. And as it turns out, only the people that had spent time in that creepy black mold wardrobe had full batteries. So was there some kind of time dilution happening in there? It was just really strange, you know, a lot of ghosts and spirits and theories that are based around electromagnetic disturbance. So I thought it was interesting that our electronics were being messed with in a particularly creepy area of the house.
Are the people that went in the wardrobe got full batteries?
Is yours full, Joe?
Oh shit! Wait, what the f? Wait, what the f?
Wait.
Oh!
And yeah, as soon as we started mentioning it, this little thing went off, which is a proximity-based sensor. I have to get across to you guys because I used to watch these sorts of videos, right? There's a healthy skepticism. Everything's being messed with. Use a remote button to make it go off. But I shit you not, all of this stuff, it's hard to make it set off. For the video, we want it to go off all the time because it looks good on the video, but it's hard to set these things off. You have to bump them, you know what I mean? So it was odd that when we were talking about certain things, the things start to go off. Very weird.
Test it out. Test it out.
Look, not even that will
I'm
do
gonna
it.
go from soft to like hard, right?
And now he's testing it.
So you literally have to hit the dresser.
It didn't vibrate that much.
It's only from him punching the dresser. Like literally like, that actually set it off. This is a big part of the video, was when we sat in the library, because the library we were told was a very high activity area, and this is really where the night starts getting weird, like really weird.
So basically the way it works is someone wears headphones and they say the words that they hear through the EMF reader.
But the idea is with this doing it this way is the person wearing the headphones can't hear you guys.
Now you guys know about the Estes method. It's basically you use this little spirit box thing. Let me have a look. Let me just get the official like thing of how it works here.
Spirit box.
So the spirit box is basically, it's a radio. It is just a normal radio with a couple adjustments. It has a slight modification that enables it to rapidly scan multiple stations at once, non-stop. Basically, the theory is that ghosts and spirits tend to try to communicate through what we can pick up as radio frequencies. Now, these frequencies change depending on the spirit, or however they are in tune to the world around them. But the idea is that this thing just flips through frequencies constantly, and you might pick up a word or two of what they're saying. Yes, when you're listening to it, you can hear shit like Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber, like come in for a second. It'd be like,
Baby.
like shit like that. But that's not what you're listening to. The ghost didn't say baby. That's just, you have to wait for it to pass through the musical radio stations and wait till you actually hear something that shouldn't be there. It's really interesting.
Just any words that I hear that are clear.
Anything that you can like make out basically.
So I was really interested here. This is what we're here for. This is the meat of the fucking video. It should be worth mentioning as well. For some reason, this strange little Viking man right here, he tends to get the best communication. I don't know. He's a very spiritual dude. He drinks a lot of tea. You take of that what you will, but he seems to be the best for getting the messages from the other side.
Has your family lived here long?
5:30 a.m. or p? Oh, what the f?
What the f?
Oh.
5:30.
Every time this thing goes off, it's called a pod sensor thing. It's weird because they are really hard to set off, and when they do go off, they specifically change to a different tune depending on how close the thing is to the center. So it's literally a proximity sensor. Like it goes like that.
What will happen at 5:30?
What the was that?
Sorry, I just knocked it.
Holy man.
Next to me, I'm sorry.
I wasn't goofing there, okay? I genuinely didn't mean to do that.
Speak to us.
Hey, buddy.
What is your name?
Pizza. No, that's...
Whoa, hold up.
That's weird because they ordered pizza. Emma and Adri ordered pizza.
Yeah, that was pretty funny, but it turns out there was something a little weird with the fact that he mentioned pizza.
Pizza, that's very strange.
That is weird.
That is really weird.
Should we check on the pizza? What if it just got here or it's about to get here?
It was odd because the last thing that we did right before we stepped into this room was order a pizza. That's a little bit of a coincidence.
Is the pizza almost here?
I'm gonna see if the pizza's here.
Wait.
Do you guys have your pizza? How far away is it?
You want to bring the guy in?
No, the spirit box said pizza.
Oh, yeah. So
Look at Adri's face. It's
As you can see, like with, you can see Adri is generally like, as soon as something happens where I can kind of like go and check on the legitimacy of something that we've just investigated, I'll do it immediately. In the lighthouse video, as soon as Juicy saw someone moving, I've basically ran out to where I knew other people were, made them swear to me that they didn't go past that area. There's something I can check on, I will do it straight away. I have to know. I have to know if we're having a genuine experience.
It's 3 minutes away. The pizza is 3 minutes away.
In 3 minutes, our lives end.
That's so bizarre. Do you like the library?
Money.
There's money everywhere.
Money everywhere.
That's like the most common offering that people leave here. Ask them anything, how they died. To give us a sign.
Dead.
Whoa.
Are you f***ing serious? How the f*** did Josh just go ask him how they died and then he says dead?
That's what I'm talking about, is like direct responses or direct coincidences. It's not like we're editing out a lot of like sitting around and nothing's happening here. This is just naturally kind of how it goes.
Eddie.
What?
Bullshit.
Oh, I'm getting chills, man.
Turn the light. Oh!
I'm still mad at Molly about this because it's so hard to get everyone from like messing around and being silly to actually being serious and getting to the meat of these things. It's so frustrating when someone f***s around and brings it back into not taking things seriously. And Molly had just thrown a book at Eddie because he thought it was funny because he's Molly. And we just started getting to things that are interesting.
Was that you, motherfucker?
No. I knew you were going to blame me for that. That wasn't me.
Why the f would you do that, man?
Why did that
You
page
can see I'm genuinely annoyed. I think everyone was genuinely annoyed.
It was just getting spooky.
Eddie was he told us later that he was having a genuine emotional reaction to this.
We're trying to do it seriously.
You have no idea how that felt, man. Shut the f up for a second, dude.
So we had to cut out about 40 minutes of Molly like just laughing to himself.
Why did you mention Eddie?
And we're back into it now.
Love.
He's a fan.
I feel bad for Eddie here because he's having like a genuine reaction. Eddie still lists this as like one of the most profound experiences of his life.
I actually feel like crying, dude.
Emotional energy.
Yeah.
Alright, pass it on to Eddie, I reckon.
So the interesting thing I think to me is even though Eddie was clearly having an emotional connection, just because someone might be specifically trying to talk through someone or something like that, doesn't mean that they're going to have the best reaction on the Estes method. Like they might have someone sit next to him saying like, Eddie, blah, 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 talking to him the whole time. And then as soon as they put it on, nothing. So it seems like being a vessel for communication versus the person who actually is being talked to are two very different things.
My EMF just maxed.
Understand.
The EMF reader doing that is f***ing weird, man. I know I keep going on about the equipment, but like this shit doesn't just go off by itself. So for it to start doing things, especially when shit starts getting strange, it spins me out every time.
Oh.
Your EMF is going f***ing crazy.
Turn the lights on.
Bullshit.
That's what it said.
We don't have to do that.
That's what it said. That's what it f***ing said. Turn the lights on.
You see Eddie is in genuine fear right now.
The moment Eddie said turn the lights on, I literally felt like someone was sitting on my shoulders and this would not stop maxing and it hadn't gone off the whole time.
I have had like the craziest goosebumps. Dude, I feel drained.
Yeah, this shook him. We've done like, I don't know, 10 haunted locations before this. And this was one where I was watching Eddie really closely when he was talking about how he felt. Like even off camera when we were taking a break, this shook the living f*** out of him and it concerned me. It really did.
Respectfully, I am very tired now and I would appreciate it
if we move on to the next person.
At this stage now, we've moved to the room directly above the room we were in, Henry's room. Every time people ask me about if I've had any real experiences, this is what I talk about. This is the section right here that really killed my skepticism and made me start to believe this is more than a coincidence. This shit right here, this is the shit that keeps me up at night.
Henry, are you here?
The light?
This was also one of the most intense Estes methods that we'd ever done. This one was crazy. He was just responding to us directly, you know, and he's just saying random things in his head. Because again, it's pitch black, he can't see us or hear us. But it was like we were having a conversation with someone. Shit was crazy.
Do you want to turn the lights on?
Because of that?
Because of that? The lights?
Don't hurt me.
Oh no, we won't hurt you, Henry.
We're not here to hurt you. We're friendly.
Yeah, if you want to mess with the light, you totally can.
Don't touch me.
We won't.
Straight away, you can see that like the responses we're getting are negative. It's like pain, hurt.
Did something happen to you in this room?
Scared, someone's scared. Sitting in this room is really when everything kind of started taking a more darker turn, I guess you could say.
Did something happen to you? And he says in this room, he says the end.
Especially when you're like working with
Henry,
kids.
did you die in this room?
It's when things start getting creepy and everyone feels not right.
Give us a sign you're in the room with us.
Don't interrupt.
Oh, okay. Is there something you want to say?
I'm here.
It's a direct response.
Okay.
Mully.
Yeah, that's our friend Molly right there. Is there something you wanted to say to him?
Molly talked to him.
Are you okay?
Miley's very skeptical of all this stuff. He can't like
Arm.
get rid of the... Oh, that's really weird. Okay, I never picked up on that before, but when we did the Estes method in the lighthouse, they specifically called out Mully and his arm again. And this has kind of been explained to us that some of these spirits are from like the 1800s and tattoos were very different back then. They had a very different meaning. So they always seem to call out tattoos and sometimes with tattoos. Interesting, I never picked up on that before. That's actually the second or third time that Mully's been called out for his arms.
Do people take a lot of stuff from this room? Not anymore.
Well, that's strange.
Okay.
See, it was like direct responses. It was just weird. But this is the part that really spun me out.
Are you okay? Do you feel okay? Fright. Baseball.
You can see even Juicy's reaction here, that he's like, I'm sorry guys, but I have to say it because I heard it. It makes no sense.
Maybe we should turn on the lights and look for the baseball.
Yeah. Is there a baseball you want us to find, Jeff? We'll find it. In the attic. In the attic? All right, well, let's turn the lights on, take a break for a second. Let's see if we can find a baseball.
They cut a lot of it out of the video, but Juicy says baseball a couple times. He's mentioning baseball, and then eventually we're just kind of like, okay, you keep saying baseball. Let's see if we can find the fucking baseball.
In the attic?
And then he says in the attic. So it was just, he mentioned it so many times and it was so random that we thought, you know what, let's try and find the baseball. We looked in the back room right behind where Juicy was sitting. And just as we were about to walk out, we decided, okay, we'll look under these old pillowcases. And what do we find? The biggest fucking Red Sox piece of merchandise I've ever seen. It was like a giant quilt cover.
Of a giant baseball merchandise.
Just in there.
It's like a duvet cover.
What the I know it may not seem like a lot, like no, a ghost didn't come out and like all over us or anything like that. But when someone is like blindfolded and they mention something and you find it directly next to them, it's just weird, man. Look at that shit.
Fucking shot. The baseball thing, it didn't even say, it said baseball like 3 times back to back.
That part right there, what just happened, that was probably one of the most influential moments to me. That had the most impact. Is one of those unexplainable things that just matched up so perfectly. It's one of those parts where we're like, this is gold content right here, you know, because that's always on the back of your mind. But at the same time, you're like, holy what's going on here? How is this possible? You know, he could have sat there and said any sport or any ball. There's, you know, 1,000 different sports in the world, but he mentioned that one thing. And what was in that closet? 5 white pillows and the biggest piece of baseball merchandise I've ever seen in my life. Now, this is where I did the Estes method, and it's worth mentioning here that, like, when you do this, it takes something from you every time, I feel like. I don't know, it takes a lot of energy out of you, and you kind of lose track of time. It's like some weird trance. I know that sounds weird, but I'd recommend everyone try this because it's a really unique, strange experience.
9 people.
7, 8, 9.
When I said 9, turns out, because we had the extra production crew there that aren't usually there, there was actually 9 people in that room, which is fucking strange. I hadn't even made the connection that there was 9 people there.
Help. Yeah. Stop. That was very clear.
It turned from like having this conversation to just something saying stop, get out, stop. It's flicking through multiple stations, so it's like 7. But someone screamed in my ear. They screamed, "Stop!" And it went across multiple stations. It's like the radio thing stopped and someone actually yelled in my ear. It gave me chills, man. I couldn't get off my mind for the rest of the night, and Adri is clearly not taking it well. My interpretation was Henry was in the room and we were harassing him, and they always get people every weekend coming into the Conjuring house and f***ing with the kid, and this mother or what protector or whatever taking him under her wing in the afterlife was sick of it, and it was basically coming up and saying, "Stop talking to strangers, let us rest in peace." That was my interpretation of this woman who suddenly arrives on the other side and was like, "Get the f*** out." And you can see here when the lights come on and everyone's looking at me like
Bruh.
confused and upset.
That was very uncomfortable.
That was very uncomfortable.
Almost everything you said was a direct answer
Yeah.
to what we were saying.
you were totally deaf.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm assuming.
You would have thought that you were just responding to us.
Yeah.
Look, being like totally in darkness for like an hour and taking your fucking like blindfold off and seeing someone looking at you like this, it makes you kind of concerned. Now, the basement. Growing up, the Ring movie scared the living out of me, so I'm not a fan of wells, particularly when they're in houses, particularly when they're in basements, and quadruple particularly when it's just a fucking hole in the ground and there's no wall or fencing or anything. It's just a dark pit in the center of the natural stone basement, like a portal to hell, dude. This was the first experience we've had where lights were flickering and we could hear things. This was very stressful for me. It's making me stressed just thinking about it.
Welcome. Oh.
That's the first thing that came through. This is what I love about getting this on camera, is you can see the genuine reactions of how that shit ain't right, brother.
Bullshit. Are you just saying that?
No, I'm serious.
I like this moment because this is the moment where Big Jokes to Mully starts taking things a little seriously. And that's when you can know shit is getting real. When he starts being like, looking stressed out.
Is there anyone down here?
Clearly.
Maybe.
Maybe. Oh, they're just with us.
This Estes method was very, very like responsive. It was like we were having a conversation, even more so than the other rooms. And this one was almost all negative. Everything felt wrong in here. Every response.
Something is down here.
That's the hardest it's freaked out all night, probably.
I feel something on my shoulder.
You ready? I'm back.
Oh my god, dude. That shit is so fucked up. Oh my god. This wasn't like an Philips Hue light, man. This was like a sort of bulb people smoke meth out of, and it just flickered as soon as he said I'm back, man. That is some movie trailer shit right there. Are you kidding me, man? It gets me every time, dude. I gotta watch it again.
Do you live
Gives
here?
me chills, man.
Or are you visiting?
And the shit starts going off, man. When one thing starts going off, they all start going off, and that is when you get like this rising panic in you when you're in these situations.
What's your name?
Lucky. Murder.
Were you murdered?
Oh yeah.
On this property, you were murdered. Can you tell us what happened?
They catch me.
You see the temperature alarm going off here? My interpretation of that is something is in the room with us.
Do you have a family?
Dead.
Now, we'd been told a lot of things about like the history of the place, that there had been a war here and all this sort of stuff. So for Juicy to basically start having this conversation with the spirit where he's talking about this war and how his kids were killed and all this crazy shit, this is where I started to panic a little bit.
Raging.
Oh man, for him to say raging and the lights to flicker, it makes me want to stop this recording, get out of the room right now, honestly.
An angry spirit after all these years.
Do you hear that?
Yeah. What was that?
On the ground right behind us, there was like, the floor wasn't floorboards, it wasn't like vinyl or anything like that. It was natural rock. It was like boulders, flat boulders that we were standing on. There was nothing underneath it, okay? The only thing that went underneath it to the right of us on the like other side of the room was a well. I shit you not, to the day I die, me and Eddie can just hear this. Like literally someone scratching on rock. Crazy experience, because I was looking at the spot, you know what I mean? Like it was clearly from this spot. I was looking at it and I could see nothing, but when I put my ear up to it, or when I got closer to it, it was right there. It was like literally something was... Okay, that was weird. All the lights went out. It was really weird timing just then. That was weird. Okay, I was looking at something invisible that was making a scratching noise.
I heard that. Yeah. Light just flickered again.
Lights start flickering, things start going off, we start hearing scratching. You know, when one thing starts happening, they all start happening, in my experience.
Crawling behind me and Josh.
I'm starting to feel uncomfortable.
Bro, I just...
Uncomfortable is a bit of a fucking understatement.
You heard that?
Oh,
right?
I didn't know they actually caught it on. I've never watched this.
Are you at the table with us,
You
Lucky?
can see me, I'm starting to like look concerned. I'm looking at the production team. I'm wondering when it's time to like get out.
You heard that, right?
What the f is that?
Lucky, is that you?
No, there might be like an animal or
Like
something there.
everyone can hear it. And we're like, obviously we don't jump to like, oh, there's a ghost there, because we are skeptics, you know? That's the interesting thing about this stuff. We're trying to find explanations, but everyone can hear it. And we end up like looking in that area and moving things around. There's nothing there while it was scratching.
There's like scratching going on.
I'm under.
And then he says this, what the f, man? We hear scratching from the floor, the solid rock floor, and he says, I'm under. Bruh, this shit was unreal. There's the well right there, by the way. They'd put like some barbecue camp grill shit over the top of it. It wasn't even like held in there. They were like, if you fall in, you'll probably die. A black hole. F that.
I just don't like the fact that I'm hearing scratching from what sounds like underneath the rocks right now.
Yes, that's exactly what the
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. The scratching here was starting to make me extremely uncomfortable.
sounds like, and I'm freaked the out
It
right
was a
now.
rap, but after him saying I'm under, it's just super not good combination.
We're just here to talk. Anything
Super
that
not
you
good combination.
wanted to say, you can say it.
And this is where things started getting really bad. Let me tell you something. Pretty safe to say that between us, we have, I don't know, 3,000 videos worth of like experience. We know how cameras work. We know what to expect. We know what sets things off and what doesn't. And this is the first time this had ever happened. Ever. I'd never, ever seen this shit before in my thousands of videos of experience. The footage corrupts.
Molly's still listening and...
I'll help
Right
you out.
at the peak of the activity in the
Can you help
basement.
us fix the camera?
Just stand still.
He doesn't know yet because he's still in the Estes method. So he's still just saying whatever comes to him while we're all kind of panicking, being like, shit, did we just lose some of the best proof we've probably ever seen?
What's actually happening?
I swear to God, it just said youtube.com.
Take of that what you will. You know, I feel like I'm sitting here being like, seriously, for the past hour, but for us to lose all of our footage and it to go corrupt, and then Mully to be like, I swear it just said YouTube. And he even is like, I know this sounds bonkers and retarded, but I heard what I heard, sort of thing.
Take them off.
So I'm gonna cry.
What happened?
Bruh.
The footage is wiped.
What?
This gives me chills. This right here gives me chills because this is one of those points where, yes, we're scared and everything like that, but we're also working really hard. You know, it's expensive to go on these trips to fly 10 people out, you know, production, crew, and just us. You know, it can cost in the tens of thousands of dollars. So when we're doing something like this, and then all of a sudden the reality is we've got nothing to show for it, which was very much, you know, a possibility here, it is genuinely upsetting from a work perspective. And it means everything on the internet, and rightfully so, I think, so heavily like scrutinized that no one will believe us, I feel like. So this is kind of really upsetting as well.
Stand still, I'll fix it, and then all the footage wiped.
Well, what do we do?
And then you said youtube.com.
No way.
It's not a joke.
This is basically the worst case scenario when we're doing a shoot because it means that we have wasted our time. Kevin actually was really, really upset by this and panicked because he thought he'd done something wrong, which he hadn't done. He'd filmed plenty of videos here, so it was not his fault at all, but I've never seen him so upset. Like he thought he'd the whole night up, basically. We managed to recover the footage, obviously, because you can see it. It wasn't easy to do. Like we went upstairs for like an hour. We ran some data recovery programs. Everything needs to be saved and put somewhere and duplicated and backed up before we do anything extra. Here's something else really creepy that happened. Adri comes from like a, I don't know, religious family or whatever. Don't quote me on that if you're watching this, Adri. She was part of the production crew, so she's kind of like our babysitter. She makes sure that we have drinks and yada yada. Her mum was really stressed about her being there. She was really like, all night her mum was like sending her prayers and all these sorts of things and gave her like protected rosary beads and all this sort of stuff. And then eventually we're like, hey, why don't you jump in and see what this is all about? You know, you're sitting there stressed out in the corner all the whole time. Why don't you come and just try it? And you know what? Let's just record it for the hell of it. And she's sitting there.
I'm not getting anything.
She's not getting anything, right? And we've cut a lot of this down, but it was like half an hour of her like, nah, nothing's happening.
Lucky, talk to us through our friend Adri. She's wearing like
maybe sex
protective
And that's when I realized it's these protective necklaces that she's wearing. Her mum gave them to her and she was very specific about these protective things that her mum gave her to ward off evil spirits. So I was like, well, wouldn't it make sense that that they're protecting her? Like, let's throw them out of the room. And she was very skeptical. She did not want to do this, but I was like, look, let's just try it, see what happens.
Take your necklace off. Isn't it protective?
Yeah. And your wristband.
You're joking, right?
You're joking, right? She was serious about it. She didn't want to take it off.
You right?
Now that all that's off, he's like, hello, my name's Lucky.
So juicy jokes about that. But what's about to happen?
Finally.
No.
Are you capping? What the?
She is spun out. She takes them off. Literally 2 seconds later, it says finally in her ear.
Look at her face. She's not capping.
You're kidding.
Lucky.
Oh.
Lucky, welcome back.
I think she shit her pants when it said finally. Yeah.
Now, we didn't get much conversation out of her, but she definitely started talking after this. But I feel like it wasn't anything that we hadn't kind of already heard before. She was clearly shaken by this experience. Listening to that fucking box when it starts blabbering, I'm telling you, man, you never forget that shit.
Go into the woods.
Oh, shit.
Wait, going to the woods?
Absolutely not.
Lucky told us to go out into the woods. He also said murder, but we're gonna go out into the woods.
All right, well, look, we're not the smartest people in the world. The spirit that was telling us about pain and torture and everything like that told us to go to the woods. We thought, we'll go have a look at the woods. But we walked up to the woods and we had been told that there was very close adjoining properties and stuff. There was particularly like possibly some people staying around the area. And we didn't know what the actual boundaries of the Conjuring house were and where we were allowed to go. And the last thing we wanted to do was upset anyone that was nice enough to stay at their place, because obviously we'd been banned from places before. So we only really walked up to the edge. We didn't go right into the woods like Sam and Colby did, but we've definitely want to do that next time we go back, because we are going back. We're coming back for the Conjuring house and we are stepping everything up. I want to do the Estes method naked circle of candles, man. I want to capture some shit, man. I want to see some stuff, because this experience shook me. It shook me and I experienced things that I'd never experienced before. We made it to 6 a.m. We were cooked as after this. This was almost our last video we ever uploaded, because we almost died driving back because we didn't sleep here. We got straight in a van and drove for fucking 6 hours to go to a different hotel, which is a stupid idea. But that was the Conjuring video, and it was probably one of the most important experiences of my life, I would say. And everything's felt a little different afterwards. Now, if this video does well and you guys want to see it, I can talk about the lighthouse video. That was another level altogether. I feel like we captured a ghost on camera, and I think it's definitely worth talking about. But yeah, sorry, this was something a bit different, but I just really wanted to talk about my particular experience and my feelings about this whole thing, because I feel like this is really the video and the experience that crossed things from kind of messing around and being silly and being like the boys to having a future in the paranormal and paranormal investigation. So yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think and go to theboys.store. We need to fund some more trips. Catch you later.